Let's jump right into it. Number 7. Your brain enters survival mode within the first 30 seconds and starts rationing oxygen like a wartime general managing scarce resources. Think of your brain as the CEO of a company during a crisis. It immediately starts cutting off blood flow to non-essential departments like your digestive system and kidneys, redirecting everything to keep the headquarters running. Your heart rate spikes to around 120 beats per minute as your body dumps adrenaline into your system. But here's the twisted irony. This panic response actually burns through your precious oxygen supply faster. It's like flooring the gas pedal when you're already running on fumes. Within those first crucial moments, you're using up oxygen at nearly double the normal rate, which means you've just cut your survival time in half before you've even had a chance to think clearly. Your pupils dilate completely as your nervous system switches into fight or flight mode, but there's nowhere to fight and nowhere to flee. Number 6. The carbon dioxide buildup begins immediately and turns your own breath into poison. Every exhale in that confined space is like adding another drop of toxin to a container you can't escape. In normal air, carbon dioxide makes up about 0.04% of what you breathe, but in a sealed coffin, that percentage starts climbing rapidly toward the danger zone of 5% and beyond. At 3% concentration, you experience drowsiness and mild narcosis. Your thinking becomes fuzzy like you've had a couple drinks. By 5%, your breathing becomes labored, and you feel like you're trying to breathe through a thick blanket. But here's where it gets truly horrifying. At 7 to 10%, you lose consciousness, but your body keeps breathing automatically, turning each breath into a deeper poisoning. It's like your own respiratory system becomes a torture device, forcing you to participate in your own suffocation. The carbon dioxide doesn't just affect your lungs either. It dissolves into your bloodstream and turns your blood acidic, which starts breaking down your body's chemistry from the inside. Number 5, your body temperature begins dropping in ways that would surprise you, but not for the reasons you might think. 6 feet underground, the Earth maintains a constant temperature of around 55 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. That's like being trapped in a giant refrigerator. Your body normally burns through about 2,000 calories a day, just maintaining its 98.6 degree core temperature. But now you're in an environment that's literally sucking heat away from you through the wooden walls of your coffin. Without the ability to move around and generate warmth through muscle activity, your core temperature starts dropping by about 2 degrees per hour. But here's the medical nightmare. As your body temperature falls, your heart rate slows down, your blood pressure drops, and your brain function becomes severely impaired. At 95 degrees, you develop severe confusion and memory loss. At 90 degrees, you stop shivering altogether because your muscles no longer have the energy to generate heat. It's like your body is slowly shutting down its own life support systems. Number 4. The claustrophobia triggers a psychological breakdown that's almost as dangerous as the physical threats. The brain wasn't designed to process the concept of being trapped in a space barely larger than your own body with no possibility of escape. Within minutes, many people experience what psychologists call acute panic disorder. Your mind essentially short-circuits from the overwhelming stress. Imagine trying to run complex software on a computer that's overheating and running out of batteries simultaneously. Your rational thinking shuts down first, followed by your ability to problem, solve, or remember basic information. Some people become completely catatonic, while others enter a state of frenzied clawing and scratching that only accelerates their oxygen consumption. The darkness compounds everything because human beings rely heavily on visual input to maintain psychological stability. Remove that input entirely, and your brain starts creating its own hallucinations to fill the sensory void. You might see lights that aren't there, hear voices calling your name, or feel phantom touches on your skin. Your sense of time becomes completely distorted. Minutes feel like hours, and hours feel like days. Number 3. Your fingernails and skin tell a horrifying story of desperate escape attempts. The human fingernail can exert up to 50 pounds of pressure per square inch, which sounds impressive until you realize that's nowhere near enough to break through a wooden coffin lid topped with 6 feet of packed earth. But desperation makes people attempt the impossible, and the evidence left behind is genuinely disturbing. Medical examiners have found fingernails completely torn off, worn down to bloody stumps from frantic scratching. The skin on fingertips gets worn away until you're literally clawing with bare bone. Splinters of wood get embedded under what's left of the nails and into the soft tissue beneath. Your hands swell up like inflated gloves as blood pools in the damaged tissue. But here's the most unsettling part. Even in this state of panic, your body's wound, clotting mechanisms keep working, trying to heal damage that you keep inflicting on yourself. It's like your survival instincts are at war with each other. The wooden ceiling becomes stained with blood and scattered with fragments of human tissue, creating a grotesque timeline of your final desperate hours. Number 2. The oxygen depletion creates a chain reaction of organ failures that's both fascinating and terrifying from a medical standpoint. Your body contains enough oxygen in your lungs, blood, and tissues to keep you alive for about 60 to 90 minutes in a sealed environment the size of a standard coffin. But as those oxygen levels drop below 16% of normal atmospheric content, your organs start shutting down in a specific order, like lights going out in a building during a power failure. Your brain goes first because it's the most oxygen-hungry organ, consuming about 20% of your total oxygen supply under normal conditions. You'll experience confusion, impaired judgment, and eventual unconsciousness. Your heart tries to compensate by beating faster and harder, but eventually it starts developing irregular rhythms as the cardiac muscle becomes oxygen-starved. Your kidneys shut down next, followed by your liver, which means your body loses its ability to filter toxins from your blood. Meanwhile, your lungs are working overtime, but they're basically trying to extract oxygen from an increasingly depleted supply, like trying to suck thick milkshake through a narrow straw. The irony is that your breathing becomes more rapid and desperate just as there's less and less actual breathable air available. Number 1. Your body enters a state called metabolic acidosis that essentially pickles you from the inside out while you're still alive. As carbon dioxide builds up in your bloodstream, it forms carbonic acid, which drops your blood below the normal range of 7.35 to 7.45. Think of it like your blood becoming mildly corrosive, similar to how acid rain slowly dissolves stone statues over time. At a pH of 7.2, your cellular functions start breaking down. At 7.0, your organs begin failing systematically. Your cells literally can't perform basic functions because the chemical environment has become too hostile. Your nervous system starts misfiring, sending random pain signals throughout your body. Your muscles cramp and spasm involuntarily as the electrical signals that control them become scrambled. Your kidneys try desperately to filter the acid from your blood, but they're overwhelmed and eventually shut down completely. Even your bone marrow stops producing new blood cells because the chemical signals that control this process get disrupted. It's like your body becomes a chemistry experiment gone wrong, where every system that keeps you alive starts working against you instead. The most disturbing aspect is that this process is gradual enough that you remain conscious for much of it, experiencing each system failure as it happens. Your body essentially becomes uninhabitable for your own consciousness, like a house slowly filling with toxic gas while you're still trapped inside. That's all for now. I'll make similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.